Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like it feels like insurmountable. Um, it feels like a privilege and it feels like a burden. And it feels like a sacrifice and it feels like the best gift that I could receive from the universe at the same time. It's like when you desperately, desperately want like a part in a play and you want it so bad, and then you get it and you're like, shit, like this is a lot of responsibility. It's like, be careful what you wish for. I wanted a kid so bad. I mean, I still want my kid. I just desperate, like I would see pregnant women and be angry. Like I'd be like, I want, like so jealous. And I had him when I was 31. And I think I got married very quickly because we both wanted a kid, like immediately. But yeah, just I guess it just feels ethereal, kind of like it doesn't exist and it does. It's like something that isn't tangible, but it is. It's a lot of opposites, I think.
Welcome to the How It Feels to Be a Mother podcast, where we dive into the emotional complexities and varied experiences of motherhood. I'm your host, Sarah Broberg. This judgment-free zone is a place where mothers can express their authentic feelings and experiences as whole human beings. In each episode, we'll explore the catalyst question at the heart of this movement. How does it feel to be a mother? Through engaging discussions with mothers from diverse backgrounds from around the world, we'll explore the complexity of emotions along the continuum of motherhood. Join us as we speak with mothers from all walks of life, from those with infants to those with adult children, uncovering the vast emotional continuum of motherhood. Whether you find motherhood to be a blessing or a challenge or somewhere in between, sometimes all at once, this podcast is here to validate your feelings and to break the stigma, shame, and guilt that can often accompany maternal experiences. Tune in and be a part of a movement that empowers mothers to embrace the emotional depths of what it really feels like to be a mother. Join the conversation. Welcome to this episode of How It Feels to Be a Mother. Today, we explore the emotional complexities of motherhood with Becca, a 36-year-old artist and small business owner. She shares her experience of motherhood and balancing her identity as a mother with her personal and professional life. We explore themes of identity, guilt, and the impact of generational trauma on parenting styles. She discusses the challenges of co-parenting, managing a business, and the oscillating feelings of privilege and burden that motherhood brings as she navigates divorce, personal growth, and the demands of parenting. Join us as we discuss the nuances of modern motherhood, the struggles of personal identity, and the beauty of raising a child amidst life's chaos, and how these experiences shape our lives in unexpected ways.
I'm 36. Yeah, I'm 36. My preferred pronouns are she, her, and I haven't had to say that in a minute. And I am divorced. I was not married very long. I have a 4-year, well, he'll be 4 uh next week or the week after. So I have a 4-year-old son, and he's pretty like ethereal and feral, but he uses he him.
That's great. Thank you. Okay, so here's the catalyst question that kind of set this whole project in motion.
Oh, I'm nervous.
How does it feel to be a mother?
Oh, wait. I'm sorry. Your partner asked you this question like recently?
Yeah, like this, I think it was in jest, but because I was so like, with all my emotional stuff that I just took it super seriously.
Wow. Oh, wow. Okay. I feel like maybe I got asked that like very early on, like when Cass was like very new, and you kind of just want to be like, fuck you. Like, it's kind of one of those things where it's like sleep when the baby sleeps, and you're just like, like it's like I'm not violent. I'm sorry. I think that I kind of resonated with what you said about I don't know that I really identify as a mom. I think it's because my mom only identifies as a mom, like heavily. Um, like very, very much so, to the point where it's like martyry, and like if she doesn't do X, Y, and Z, then no one will love her. But I'm always like saying, you don't have to do this for us to love you. Like, we love you the way you are. Anyway, I'm getting off track, but I think I'm kind of like not identifying as a mom for a few reasons. One is my relationship with my mother. The other one is that I have my son 50-50. So we were doing like 3 days, and 4 days, but now we've done week on, week off, and it's better for everyone. And it's not that I'm not a mom when he's not with me, but I run a small business. I do like custom art installations, and I own my house, and I have 2 dogs and a cat. And my employee lives with me right now, which is chaos. But like, really, like, I don't know that I ever sit down to identify as anything really. I just kind of am doing stuff. And it's kind of weird for Cass to even call me mom sometimes. Like, I get a little bit like, I'm like, what? It hasn't really either set in, even though he's almost 4, or it's just not really. It's not that I don't want it at all. That's not it. It's like I don't really feel like I can have that title, I guess. I don't really know if I deserve that title yet. I'm having a lot of issues right now with the mom guilt. It's like very real for me right now. So I feel like that's kind of coming from there, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anyway, just blabbed a lot about that.
No, that's okay. Here's the thing about this. There's no right or wrong, right? Like,
Yeah.
That's the great thing. I'm just collecting conversations. So like, that's
mine is probably not very coherent, but like, hopefully you can pull something from it.
So, okay. So the question was, how does it feel to be a mom? And my next question, it's okay. I got a lot out of that. So.
Okay, wait, I'm gonna take a 1 second to think of a word. How does it feel to be mom? God, it feels like Herculean.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it feels like insurmountable. It feels like a privilege, and it feels like a burden, and it feels like a sacrifice, and it feels like the best gift that I could receive from the universe at the same time. It's like when you desperately, desperately want like a part in a play, and you want it so bad, and then you get it and you're like, shit, like this is a lot of responsibility. It's like, be careful what you wish for. I wanted a kid so bad. I mean, I still want my kid. I just desperate, like I would see pregnant women and be angry. Like, I'd be like, I want, like so jealous. And I had him when I was 31. And I think I got married very quickly because we both wanted a kid, like immediately. But yeah, just I guess it just feels ethereal, kind of like it doesn't exist and it does. It's like something that isn't tangible, but it is. It's a lot of opposites, I think.
Mm-hmm.
That's my long, weird, I didn't sleep for 2 days answer.
Does it feel like you thought it would?
You know, no, because I didn't think I would get a divorce. And I don't think that marriage defines your ability to be a mom or your worthiness as a mom or like whatever. But I think just nothing really looks the way that I thought it was going to look, I guess. Maybe kind of, I don't know. I don't even know what I thought I was going to be like or feel like. And it's different from what I thought, maybe somewhere floating around in my brain. Like, it's like you think about your wedding, like you're a little girl and you like want to wear a dress and like you just going to be this and this. And you get there and you're like, I don't know about all this. Yeah, just mom guilt reigning in, just guilt. Just maybe my answer today is just guilt with a capital G. Guilty.
Mm-hmm. You can imagine there are a lot of themes that are emerging from these conversations, and you've hit on several already in just this short amount of time. So,
well, I have a tendency to be kind of talkative.
That's great. That's makes for a good conversationalist as far as I'm concerned. So, but one of the themes that you kind of hit on here is this this sort of like the ways in which we were raised, how that influences how we choose to raise our children, right? So just that juxtaposition between you and your mom, like that's interesting. Maybe you want to talk a little bit more about how that influenced how you choose to raise your child?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that you're like every mom is the perfect mom for their kid. Like the only mom and the right mom and the perfect mom. And I'm not a very like religious person, but I think that we like kind of choose the lessons we need to learn in this life. And we kind of pick our families or our parents or like things that we need to like focus on in this lifetime. And I think that like sometimes I get really frustrated. My mom's an alcoholic, and her mom, grew up in the Depression, and like there was so much inherited generational trauma like that my mom never can deal with or never could deal with, like to this day. And it's not that I want to be the 180 of her. I don't want to just be reactionary and not be her and not identify with her, because she's a part of me and she has a lot of great qualities. I don't feel like I'm going to change the world with one tiny little baby boy. I mean, he will change the world, but like, I'm just trying to take the best parts of what I got from my mom, and I'm trying to recognize the parts that hurt me, that like have left me with scars and like holes. And I think for me, I married someone who's so much like my mom, who is very much like smother you and then you don't exist. And she's such a
love bombing.
Yeah, love bombing. And she's such a kind, genuine like person that really just wants to be loved. But she just drowns herself in alcohol because she doesn't understand like how to look at her pain. So one thing I'm desperately doing that maybe is a little 180, but arguably, hopefully not bad, is just a ton of therapy, like a ton of it. Because my parents always were like, oh, therapy's for broken people. So like there's some things like that where I'm totally just like, oh, I'm doing this. And it's like for me, but it's for Cassius. Like I want to know more about myself and my triggers. So I'm not like dumping that shit on him the way she dumped on me and the way her mom dumped on her. Like her mom weighed her every Friday. Like if she gained a pound, she like couldn't go out or like try out for a play or like do something. And my mom overfed us. So I was like borderline obese growing up. And it's like, you don't need to go like nuts, like the opposite. Like, there's a time when I didn't even want to identify with her. And I'm starting to realize, like, as a mom, my relationship is hugely changing with her. And I'm just starting to realize, like, there is so much guilt, even if no one in your life is saying you're not doing a good job as a mom. There's so much like fucking patriarchy shit. There's so much garbage from like society. There's garbage from other moms, which I hate, like when women don't support other women. There's so much judgment, and like you can't stop any of that stuff, but like I want to just be the best version of myself for my son. And I know I'm going to mess him up. Like we're always going to mess our kids up. Like, okay, great. But what I'm not going to do is love bomb him. And what I'm not going to do is like put my trauma on him, like in a way where he's my everything. Like he is the reason that I am breathing. Like that's the kind of like pressure that I had to be an adult very quickly. Like, and I don't want that for him. Like I want him to play, and I want him to know that I can take care of me and him. Like he doesn't have to take care of me. Like I had to take care of my mom like immediately. So that's what I want for him. And really just my relationship with my mom has gotten a little softer, like a little sweeter. It went through a lot of rocky moments, but I do think, something she said to me was like, you're never going to know how much I love you until you have your own kid. And like, I was like, yeah, whatever. Okay. And it's kind of true. Like it's definitely proven to be true. And the way she loves him is really special to witness too. So like there's just a lot of more like nuanced kind of exchanges between us now that I feel like we're like in a club, It's like but yeah, I'm not gonna be better than her, but like all I can do is just my best, So trying.
How for you has the feeling of being a mother changed over time?
I think I've learned to forgive myself a little bit more, and maybe I am each day, even though the guilt's like it comes and goes, like it's strong right now. But I couldn't breastfeed, and it was like one of the worst. Ugh, I can't even talk about it. I still think about it. He's so smart and he's so healthy and he says words like essentially and he's like not even 4 yet. Like, you know what I mean? And he he explains things. He's so smart. Like he got a couple drops of colostrum, like he's good. But like I just still hate myself for not being able to do that. And it's like I think for me, like realizing that I'm always just going to do the best I can and I'm going to mess up, it's like it keeps proving true. And every time it happens, I go, okay, we made it through. Like we made it through that. Like there's room for both of us to grow here and for us to like love and be present with one another and like for us to for me to forgive myself and for me to just accept him fully and not, need things from him or need things for myself as a mom. There's like all these invisible goals we like have to reach to be like a good mom. It's like we're not going to get a gold star. Like there's no prize. Like the prize is just being present with your kid and like watching like every single breath he takes, he's learning something new. And I've just sat there and gone, like when he was an infant, I was like, I can't do this. I can't do I'm not a good mom. Like I'm not a good baby mom. I can't breastfeed. I can't do this. I'm so tired. And then the older he gets, the more I'm just like, he's like learning something every second. And I can do that too. Like I can change my perspective every second. And like I get to watch him like walk in a room he always knew or like he knows very well and see something and like learn about something new, even though he's seen it before. And I'm like, I can do that too. Like I can look at shit that I've looked at every single day and like look at it differently if I wanted to, if I'm open to it. And so like, I think for me, I just felt like, oh, I'm a mom. I have to teach. I have to do. I have to be. I have to provide. And like he's teaching me that like I don't have to do that. I just have to show up,
That's beautiful. What's your favorite thing about what it feels like to be a mom?
Cass will do this thing where he will just kind of really, really stare at me like super stare into my brain, and he'll just go, I love you, mom. You're the best. And I'm like, there's this time like before they start speaking relatively coherently and you love them so much and they love you back. But like the second they say it, you're like, oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
I did not expect to get this emotional. I'm sorry.
You're in really good company, Becca. I'm telling you.
I'm not embarrassed. I just feel like I really was just like, oh yeah, like we're gonna like
have a chit chat.
No, it's just I miss him. Like every time he goes with his dad, it just feels like death by 1,000 cuts.
Oh.
So I don't see him for a whole week. And like I could if I desperately wanted to, like, but we're not on great terms right now. My ex-husband and I were on great terms. We were doing so well. And he stole a bunch of money from me and he lied. And so I like can't, we're not friends anymore. And I could see Cass if I wanted to, but it's confusing for him, for me to just go over for a minute or like just have, it's confusing. So like, I try to just give him the space, but it's nice with the week because like we're all sick of each other, and then it's like, go to dad. And then, like, so there is this like amazing bit about that where like I can just be Becca for a whole week. And like, if I have insomnia, it's not hurting anyone except maybe my business. And like, if I want to like, I don't know, just be whatever, just be a fucking 36-year-old, then just do it. But like, it's got its pros and its cons because like he'll hurt himself, and I'll like, cut his knee, and I'll just be like, I wish his dad was here. Like, not his dad, I hate his dad, but you know what I mean? Like, it's hard to do it by yourself. Like, it's really, really hard. And I spent time with Lindy recently, and Blake's mom, who both like, did it by themselves mostly. And like, they both just inspired me so much, like just raising amazing, beautiful, wonderful, thoughtful, open-minded humans that are so like accepting and curious, and just like listening to them talk about doing it alone or with a little, and it's just like, I can do this. Like, because I don't have role models like that. My parents were like, oh, divorce, like we don't get divorced, like that kind of shit. So like, it's so nice to have more role models, because the only one I have is my mom, and she's troubled. I mean, aren't we all? Yeah. Anyway, wow. Did I take truth serum maybe before?
Like what you're hearing? We'd love your feedback. Please leave a review.
Well, so you mentioned, so the next question is, what concerns you about it, what it feels like to be a mom? And so we talked a lot about, or you rather talked a lot about guilt and the feeling of guilt. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Anything else? Or maybe you want to expand on that?
I think that well, what's concerning me today is the fact that, like, for example, my ex-husband can say, like, I don't feel like you're invested in our son or something. And I completely believe him, because I've just been like, a man says something to you. I mean, I'm better than this. I'm more woke than this, but it's kind of true. And then B, somebody that you like that loved you, that knows you really well, and they say something and you go, oh my God, it's true. And then like literally my therapist was like, that's bullshit, right? Like, he's projecting, like, because I'm obsessed with my kid. And I was like, oh my God, that's crazy. So yeah, like today concerning is like how easily someone can break me down and convince me that I'm a shitty mom, when like I know that I'm like Cass's mom and I'm the only mom for Cass. And like, the thing that concerns me is just a defense mechanism that I had growing up to like make sure everyone in my household wouldn't fight. And like, I was being a parent, was like not manipulating in a shitty narcissist way, but just like trying to control like make sure everything was okay all the time. And like, I catch myself doing it, and I know I'm going to like imprint shit on him, but like, and sometimes it's not even what you say, it's what you don't say. Like, it's like what my mom didn't say that I like picked up on. And I worry about that. But again, like, that's the therapy thing. Because like, I get concerned that his dad's a narcissist and a liar and love bomber, but like, I can't protect him from that. Like, I can't change his dad. Like, his dad's his dad. And I'm not going to be the other opposite, the perfect parent. All I can do is just be like open and like listen, and not need him to do stuff for me the way my parents did. So yeah, like, the concern is just like, how do you like navigate that without over editing yourself? Just the awareness, and just like, can I access that awareness like when the time comes? I don't know. It's a day-to-day. It's so moment to moment, and that can be concerning for me because I feel vulnerable when I have to live like that, because I'm a control freak because of my childhood. So yeah, I think just like trying to let go of all these like outcomes and expectations, like, that's concerning for me because I'm not comfortable doing that. So yeah. And of course, like him, getting hurt or getting bullied or like, any of that stuff. But like, that's just like anything. I mean, I worry about my dog getting hurt. Like that's normal, I guess. But
Yeah.
anyway.
A few times you've mentioned you've touched on another one of the themes that comes up there that has come up, which is sort of this parallel journey of like development and growth that both the parent and the children are on sort of at the same time. And it's been fascinating to talk to parents who have children of all ages, right? Because the way I've been talking to parents along the whole continuum of motherhood. And so you've mentioned that actually quite a few times, just the ways in which you yourself are kind of growing and evolving as a human, and the role that your child has played in that process.
Definitely. I mean, I wouldn't say forced. It's not the right word, but like open to a very necessary like escape hatch for me to have to do that. Like, like it was like he came out of me and I was like, oh my God, I have to be better now. And like not better, like perfect or like a certain version. Just I can't pass this shit on. I'm going to a little or a lot. Who knows? I just don't want to. And I want to make a really solid effort because like just recognizing like that just saying that my mom is an alcoholic, I didn't say that until I was pregnant. Like I couldn't utter that. And I knew it my whole life and like everyone gaslit, like I didn't say it. And I think like just finally just starting to like scratching the surface of trying to own my shit just so I can maybe not just, just give it right back. But it doesn't make me better or anything. I just want to give him the opportunity to feel safe. And feel seen and feel heard, like things that I didn't get. And again, I'm not like, doing the thing where he like dictates my life or anything, like that kind of thing, but don't want to go too crazy in the opposite direction. But yeah, I don't know. I guess he's just teaching me more than I'm teaching him, I think, right now, at least mostly. It's like, Mom, a meteor came to Earth and killed all the dinosaurs. Is that going to happen to us? And I was like, oh my God, how do I answer this? Like, I was like, buddy, there's scientists, they have telescopes, they're watching, like, all of this stuff. And I was like, and also nature, but I was like, nature knows what she's doing. Like, if she wants to send a meteor, she's going to take care of us. It's all good. And then he was like looking at me and I was like, bud, remember how in Paw Patrol a meteor comes and gives all the pups superpowers? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, that. And he was like, yeah. And I was just like, why am I trying to like but they make you question your own like ethics. Like at any time of the day, you're like, how do I feel about this? Like, but it like teaches you, it's like a mirror and he looks just like me. And it is so funny because, like that phenomenon, you'll never see yourself, like actually see yourself. This kid is like my clone. He's blonde, but he's like my clone and he looks just like my baby pictures. And it's like freaky. And I don't know. He's not me. He's his own weird thing. And yet I feel like I kind of know who I am more now that he's here, if that makes sense. Like I kind of exist more. Like a tree falls in a forest thing.
What surprises you about what it feels like to be a mom?
I don't, I'm like constantly surprised. Like I feel like I was trying to think of something, but the truth is, it's like every single time I hang out with him, especially because it's like a week in between, he's like shocking me with what he's saying and like what he's asking and what he's doing and like how his preferences have changed. And, he doesn't say necked anymore. He says connect. And you're like, oh my God, he's never going to say necked anymore. Like that kind of thing. Like, I'm always just surprised, I guess. And I'm kind of surprised at like how I knew it would have moments of like monotony and like just like, oh my God, we're doing the same shit all the time, but it's constantly changing. And it always has. Like he like bit somebody when he was 1, and I was like, oh my God, he's a biter. He's gonna bite until he goes to college. And it's like, no, he stopped like the next day. Like he's never bit anybody again because he got in trouble. Like it's just, you think it's like always, because adults are maybe a little more consistent, but like he's just constantly changing. And I didn't realize how fast it went. So fast. He's turning 4 on the 18th. It's like, I feel like I had him yesterday, and I feel like he was always talking. Like I had a dream when he was like a newborn that I heard him talk, and like, yeah, it's my memory that doesn't really exist and it's a dream, but like, I swear to God, he sounded just like he sounds right now. Like, it's just weird. It's like he never didn't exist. Like he's always been. And it's like, how is that a thing? Like, I guess he's been chilling as an ovary in my body, but like I don't know. I can't even remember what it was like to not have him. Like I just don't even remember. And I don't care. I don't miss it. I'm not like, oh, I don't know.
One of the people that I interviewed said something about how she felt like she was sold a bill of goods when it came to like being a mother, similar to how she felt she was sold a bill of goods about marriage. And I felt like I could relate to that.
Yeah.
Particularly like the marriage part too, because I think you and I have some very, very similar situations there. And I just thought that was such an interesting quote. I'd never heard anybody mention something like that before, or draw the parallel before.
That is really interesting. Yeah, it's like a weird promise that you're making to yourself. And it's a big leap, and it's an investment. And I kind of always saw marriage as like a transaction a little bit, like, especially with my ex-husband, just like similar family, similar upbringing, same birthday, which is weird. Like our parents loved each other, like, we both wanted a kid. We both ran our own businesses. It just like made sense. And like, I loved him, not in the same way, but like, I loved him, but it just was never right. But I was like, no, this makes sense. This is what I have to do. And this is what I have to do to get a baby. Like, this is what I have to do to like be stable and like make everyone happy and make everyone feel like I'm, okay. And I'm just going to like, I have to just do this, and I don't care what it looks like. And just looking back, I just, I didn't do any of it for me, but I don't look at Cassius and like resent him at all for that. Like he doesn't there's no resentment. Like I have no regrets. It just has been hard, but I thought I would maybe just like resent him, but I don't. It's weird how you can have like sadness and loss, and it would be so easy for me to place all that on him, and I can't. Like, I think I even tried. Like when he was a baby, I was like, I hate you. And I was like, I don't hate you.
Yeah. I mean, we all have those moments, right? Where it's like, yeah, this is the reality right now. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. And everything, everything's always swinging back and forth and changing, but it's just like, God, the emotions of being around being a mom, just like the freaking roller coaster of like, just like bliss and like despair and like overwhelmed, and just like sometimes it feels like an endless sea of sticky crap and like toys that come with 80,000 parts for some reason. Why does every toy have like 80,000 parts? Like, please explain to me. There is not one toy that just is like one cool thing.
Right.
they all have like so many parts. And it's like, where do you put the parts? I don't know.
You mentioned about having role models, sort of for how you are in your motherhood journey. And I'm wondering if there are people in your life with whom you talk about what it feels like to be a mom. Mm.
Um, no, not really. I have a friend that has a 2-year-old and she's pregnant. And, I think when her 2-year-old was younger, I said, like, do you like being a mom? Like, because she's so like, she's very artistic and like free and kind of just like, she's kind of a fairy from another planet, and she was like, it's the best thing in the whole world. And I knew she would be a wonderful mother, but I kind of also thought that she would at least identify a little bit with like missing that like freedom, that like kind of like cloud hopping kind of vibe that she always had. And she like doesn't ever want it back. And like, I don't know, like I always just got stuck as like the like default caregiver. Like my ex-husband would just be like, okay, well, I have to do this thing. And I'm like, well, who's gonna watch the baby? And he's like, and so like I feel, it's a blessing and a curse that I get this time to myself. But I don't think I could like, I don't know. I don't know because it's not a reality, but I don't think I could handle it if it was just all day, every day. Like, I think I would lose my fucking mind. Like, and I think all my friends that have kids, will say stuff like, oh, I'm sorry they're going through that, or I'm sorry that like that's really hard. But like we don't talk about what it feels like to be a mom, I don't think. Not that I can
I
think.
think that is.
Gosh, because I feel like that it's that like my friends and I love each other so deeply without judgment, but that's like kind of a thing. It's like if you say how shitty you feel, it's like you're a shitty mom. Do you know, like, not that they would think that about me, but yeah, if I really needed a friend and I was crying and I was like, it's hard to be a mom, like they'd show up. But like, yeah, if I was just like, God, it's impossible some days, I think that that's like a really vulnerable admission. And there's a lot of guilt associated with admitting that you're struggling or that you don't like it all the time. Like sometimes it sucks. And like just saying that is kind of making me feel like, when you say you don't believe in God and you feel like you're going to get struck down by lightning or something.
And the shame associated with it too, right?
Oh, so much. Yeah. So much like, yeah, internal. But yeah. I mean, I feel like I probably judge myself more than other people, especially when it comes to being a parent. Like, I don't think anybody like goes, oh, like, except my ex-husband goes like, oh, you're a shitty mom. But yeah, I mean, it's weird. Like my girlfriends and I that have kids, we have each other's backs, but like we don't really talk about it. We talk about like miscarriages and like pregnancy and tips and like, oh, he's doing this. And like, my thing is always anyone that has a younger kid than me, I don't like give them advice ever, but I just, my only like mantra is like, it always changes. It always changes. Like they might not sleep for a week. It always changes. Like hang in, it always shifts. And it might not be fun the way it shifts, but it's always going to change. That's like my only advice for anyone, but I don't know. Yeah, it sounds like I don't have any friends.
Well, I mean, that's one of the reasons that I was so compelled to do this work because I never heard anyone ask the question before. I never heard the question asked. And
I've never heard it either, I don't think.
why aren't we asking this question more, right? Like it's such a fundamental part of like how we operate in the world as mothers is like how we are feeling at any given time. And that's a reflection of our actions and the way that we parent and engage with our children. So yeah, it's just been
so interesting. I mean, I just think we're not allowed to feel shitty. Like we're just not allowed to. Allowed is a weird word. Like it's just not acceptable to like hate your kid for 5 minutes. They can hate you.
Yeah. Yeah, been there.
Right? Like, they can throw shit at you and you can put them, but like you're not allowed to hate your kid for 5 minutes. I mean, everybody does, I think. But like, yeah, I think it's like, it's something that like, I don't know that even my closest, dearest of friends that I've shared very intimate things with would ever just be like, I hate being a mom some days. Like, that's a hard thing to say.
And yet I'm certain that all of us at least one point in our lives has said that, right?
Absolutely.
And our parents too. So it's such a, yeah, I felt there's a calling here to ask this question, right?
I love it. Yeah. I mean, you have to imagine that, like, I mean, how does the human race continue? I mean, it's so hard.
Hubris is
so hard.
Yeah.
So hard. I don't even know how I did it, and I don't remember it because I blacked it out.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't know.
That's a coping mechanism. It's just like blocking it out,
and that's
right?
why you have another kid, right? Because like your body's like, oh, I don't even remember squeezing this one out,
Yeah. I want to keep it on the clock because I know you've got another meeting.
Oh, no. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Well, my last question for you really is there anything that we haven't talked about what it feels like to be a mother that you would like to share?
I don't know. I think it's a great lesson in letting go and like handing it up and just surrendering. And it's a great lesson in showing up. And it's a great lesson in being open to being taught and to know that it's always both sides. Like you're the teacher and the taught. You're the mean one and the nice one. You're the protector and the victim. Like, you're everything all at once. And it's like, I don't know, it's just almost like you can glide through life sometimes and like, you're just on autopilot. And I feel like being a mom, you get this like gift of just like your kids like wake up, like all the time, constantly, like, here, look at this, listen to this, like learn this. Like, how do you like, I'm gonna turn you on your head, like they're here to like mess us up. And I live for it, kind of like I can't even sit here and go, I love being a mom. I love my son. I'm obsessed with it. I don't love being a mom. Like, I don't. I mean, I don't even know if like that is like the right sentence, but I would do anything for him. And I'm super dedicated to him. And I try to be super present with him. And I just feel so grateful that he's there to just kind of like be, and I get to witness him. Like, I just want to witness. Like, I don't want to steer. I mean, I want to like guide nicely and be a parent. Like, like be a parent, and take care of him. But like, just like witnessing his like existence is like, it's otherworldly. And I think that totally cancels out, I don't like being a mom. So again, it's like nothing is black and white. It's like always like the scale, it's both at once. Everything is both all the time. Everything constantly.
Thank you so much for your time. I've been like, this conversation's so great. I'm so grateful to you. And, this whole project's born out of this, my deep curiosity around this particular question. So I would just ask if there are any people in your life for whom you're really curious how they might answer these questions and that you think would be interested in having a conversation with me. I'd love to have a chat with them or an introduction.
Okay. Awesome. I love that. That sounds fun. I'll think about some people.
Okay.
Thank you for this opportunity. It's so nice to meet you. And I really like this project. And please keep me posted if like you do something. Well, you're going to do amazing things, I know, but like,
I will. Thank you. This has been a true joy. I feel like I feel like we should get together sometime because like
I love that.
saying like our energies, like I could feel the vibrations here. So yeah,
I want to know more about you, but we'll talk. Are you in Nashville, by the way?
I am. Mm-hmm.
Okay, great. Perfect. Because
Okay.
we come up sometimes. So I'll just ask Lindy and we'll hang.
Yeah, I would love that. Yeah, particularly on the exes front, so much to say. And also about navigating that with your children. Lots of good lessons learned there on our end.
So many forever.
Yeah.
They're going to keep happening.
Yeah, exactly. Thank
Whatever,
you.
man. Bring it on. Bring it on.
Exactly. I got this. Exactly. We can do hard things.
We got this.
God.
It's so good to see you. I really hope we can hang soon.
Thank you. Take care.
Learn more about how it feels to be a mother by visiting howitfeelstobeamother.com and following us on our socials. Please join the conversation. The views, thoughts, and opinions expressed on this podcast, including those of the host and guests, are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of any entity they represent. Appearance on the program does not imply an endorsement of them or any entity they represent. The content presented is solely for general informational, educational, and entertainment purposes. The use of information provided on this podcast or materials linked from the podcast or website is at the user's own risk. It is not intended as a substitute for the advice of a physician, professional coach, psychotherapist, or other qualified professional. Users should not disregard or delay in obtaining medical advice for any medical or mental health condition they may have, and should seek the assistance of their healthcare professionals for any such conditions.